Finally, it appears we may be getting something in the WNBA that some of us have been longing and calling for. We know the referees were an absolute joke in this league. They were awful. They didn't call any fouls. You had people getting their nose busted open, blood all over the floor with no whistles being blown. We watched Caitlin Clark get the living life beat out of her every game, being targeted and not getting any foul calls. The girl can't get to the free throw line to save her life because they refuse to call fouls for her. And it appears, shout out to Rachel Demita. She had Annie Costable on.
They finally admitted it. The WNBA is taking action. After months of outrage, undeniable proof, and nonstop debate, the league is moving to bring in new, more qualified referees, a game-changing step toward a safer, fairer court. This bombshell comes directly in response to the chaos and outright injustice that plagued games, especially the relentless targeting of Caitlin Clark. The old officiating crew? A complete disaster. Brutal fouls went unchecked, noses were busted, blood stained the floor, and not a single whistle blew. The era of unchecked aggression, particularly against the league's brightest star, may finally be over. This marks a long overdue shift for both players and fans, and it's the start of a safer, more professional WNBA.
Can't get to the free throw line to save her life because they refuse to call fouls for her. And it appears, shout out to Rachel Demita. She had Annie Costable on. I recommend all of you go watch this interview at full length. Annie Costable addressed that the players in the WNBA is looking to bring in new referees, more qualified referees to create a better and a safer game. We got to get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, hype the video. Let's go over to Rachel Demita. Shout out to you. You doing your thing. Let's take a listen at what Annie Costable had to say on Rachel Demita's Courtside Club.
For far too long, Caitlin Clark became the poster child for a broken system. Every game, she faced relentless, targeted aggression from opponents. But the fouls? Never called. It got so extreme that she couldn't get to the free throw line no matter what. Not because she wasn't fouled, but because the referees repeatedly turned a blind eye. This wasn't just about stats. It changed the entire game, frustrating fans who came for high-level basketball but watched her get brutalized without consequence. The backlash was impossible to ignore, and the league was finally forced to face the music.
Costable had to say on Rachel Demita's Courtside Club.
What do you think is the biggest thing, just as far as the product on the floor? Because a lot of people talk about physicality. A lot of people talk about the referees. I actually did a deep dive in one of my episodes talking about like who the referees are calling to, essentially, and where the W gets their referees. But as far as the product, because at the end of the day, fans are not going to stick around if it's not a good product, period.
Right.
Like, they have to be there for the basketball, and I think a lot of casual fans got pulled into the W because Caitlin...
The truth behind this long overdue change came to light on Rachel Demita's show, where Anna Costable delivered a major update. She revealed that WNBA players are demanding a full officiating overhaul, recognizing just how flawed the current system has become. And this isn't about one star. It's about protecting the integrity of the game. The discussion made it clear the product on the court has been suffering, and casual fans drawn in by Caitlin Clark's electrifying play won't stick around if the league continues with sloppy officiating and unchecked physicality. This interview highlights the growing commercial pressure pushing the WNBA toward the reform it desperately needs.
W gets their referees. But as far as the product, because at the end of the day, fans are not going to stick around if it's not a good product, period.
Right.
Like, they have to be there for the basketball, and I think a lot of casual fans got pulled into the W because Caitlin had such a different game that was, like, just very, very exciting to watch, and she's an incredible player. So they're there. Now they're seeing this product. They're like, oh, this is cool. There's other players that I'm, like, getting super invested in. But a lot of people have called out, like, physicality, referees. Have you heard anything from players, owners, like any of your sources about them actively working on improving the product?
Yeah, I mean, officiating?
The officiating problem in the WNBA isn't new. It stretches far beyond Caitlin Clark's rookie season. Coaches have been blowing up over bad calls for years, long before the current spotlight. Legends like Cheryl Reeve are known for their fiery reactions, And even back in Candace Parker's rookie year, she faced repeated hard hits with 0 calls. This history shows the issue is deeply systemic, not a sudden glitch. The difference today? The league is finally under unprecedented scrutiny, and that pressure is forcing action on a problem that's been ignored for far too long.
Attention on the league now is forcing the league's hand, because all these years that they've been like, yeah, we're doing enough. Like, again, we've been asking in press conferences for years, like,
Right.
what's up with this thing, right? And so now, again, the microscope is so fixated on the league that they have to answer these questions and they have to do better. And so, yes, the officiating has been a problem. It was a problem. It will continue to be a problem until they treat the hiring of these officials as, again, the same way they treat the players in terms of making this like a lucrative.
The arrival of Caitlin Clark has flooded the WNBA with new eyes, completely reshaping the landscape. Where the league once dismissed concerns with empty platitudes, yeah, we're doing enough, they now face an inescapable public microscope. Every questionable call, every missed foul, every bit of excessive physicality is analyzed by millions. This unrelenting scrutiny is finally forcing the league to act. They can no longer ignore the decades-long issues that have plagued the game. Inaction isn't just embarrassing. It threatens to alienate a growing fan base and derail the unprecedented momentum Caitlin Clark has helped create.
It's one thing. The women's game is always just going to be a little bit more physical there. However, I see with Adam Silver and what he's done in the men's game, like I've just seen the NBA adapt so much. And again, like I said, I've been covering the NBA for over a decade now, so I've been more in tune with it. But he protects his superstars because he knows that they have to stay on the floor. Like, and that's why I've always been one who's been like, yes, Asia has a good whistle. She should have a good whistle. She's earned a good whistle. Like, she should be protected as a superstar. And she's also kind of morphed her game into making sure that she gets those calls. But that's the one thing where I feel like there's been a disconnect in the W's. Like,
Insiders say the real problem isn't just individual referees. It's the entire officiating system. You can't expect elite-level calls if salaries are low, development programs are weak, and there are no meaningful incentives to attract top talent. It's a simple principle. You get what you pay for. Historically, the league has underinvested in officiating, creating a vicious cycle of inconsistency and poor performance. The result? A direct hit on both the quality and safety of the game. Fixing this requires more than tweaks. It demands a complete systemic overhaul.
they should be protected.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on the sense that stars earn a special whistle. We see it in across leagues, and there's validity to the fact that you protect your star players to a degree because of the importance of them being available and being on the floor. And so my question is more so, is it an issue of changing certain rules, or is it an issue like would officiating fix a lot of this shit that we're seeing in regards to the—
In a glimmer of hope, a new committee has reportedly been formed specifically to tackle officiating concerns. Talks about this initiative emerged during recent competition meetings, signaling that the issue is finally on the official agenda. But skepticism remains. Historically, these committees are created, discussions happen, yet real, tangible change rarely follows. The critical question now is whether this effort will actually improve the game or simply become another talking point with no lasting impact. Fans are demanding action, not more meetings
me back to
or
that
empty
game against the
promises.
Fever and the
clock
Sun,
is ticking for results.
And again, the fact that there was, even within that game, there was no consistency with the calls. And like Marina checking Caitlin to the floor, like we can laugh, like Marina's a crash out queen, and I have the utmost respect for Marina, and I've covered her. I think her style, like her aggressiveness, I love that, because that's kind of like how I am in my real life. I'm a very like aggressive person, but like to not call these things appropriately,
She should have been